Exclusive games. That's always been a very, very, very hot topic in the gaming community. Whether it's first-party exclusives like Uncharted and The Last of Us and Halo and games like that, or if it's third-party exclusives, which we will be talking a lot about in this video. And more specifically, we will be talking about Quake Champions, an upcoming first-person shooter published by Bethesda that is looking to revive the Quake series, which has been pretty dormant over the past few years. And it's going to be PC exclusive. You can only play Quake Champions on the PC. Now, I have a few things to say about that, but before I get into, you would probably notice that I put up a poll on my Twitter account. And it reads this: should Quake Champions stay exclusive to PC? Explain why or why not. And the results are in. 29% of people said yes, Quake Champions should be PC exclusive. And I honestly was surprised by this. 62% of voters said that Quake Champions should be multi-platform. It should be available on the PS4 and Xbox One. It should be a multi-platform game for everybody to enjoy. I honestly was very surprised by these results, considering the fact that many of the people who follow me on Twitter are very, to put this nicely, biased towards PC gaming. But this kind of opened my eyes about the fact that many people don't care about what platform you play on. They want everybody to experience the games that they're experiencing. So let's read into a few opinions, a few responses to my poll. Eaton Rawson said, more games for more people. It's that simple. Cap Future says, fast-paced shooter are just not good in 30 FPS with a controller. Now, let's talk about that, because that's one thing that people cite when they say, yeah, Quake Champions is PC exclusive. And it's because it just, it can't run properly on a console. It won't. The game that they're trying to make, it just isn't possible on consoles. And one reaction I have to say is who cares? Honestly, I'm not denying that Quake Champions on the PC will most likely be the superior version. It definitely will be the superior version. But, I mean, when we're talking about the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, it might be a different story. But, when we're talking about a controller, that's also an issue. People say, well, controllers, they can't really play Quake Champions properly because Quake is a keyboard and mouse game, and it isn't really designed for controllers, similar to Counter-Strike and other PC first-person shooter games. But I just think it's a very interesting decision on Bethesda's part, considering a lot of very greedy, non-consumer-friendly decisions they've been making as of late. Not announcing any new games as of late, just capitalizing off of previous works that they made 6 years ago, Skyrim, selling as much versions of it as they can, whether it's the Nintendo Switch version, which was recently not revealed because it was revealed at last year's E3, but it was showcased at that god-awful Bethesda press conference. Whether it's the Switch version, where you can use the amiibos, and, you can play as Zelda, which is totally lore-friendly, and there's totally no way that you can play as Zelda on any platform besides the Nintendo Switch. There's no way that you can just download a mod that allows you to play as Zelda. No, you can only use the amiibos, right? Yeah, okay. Not very impressed by the Switch version of Skyrim. I'm pretty sure most of the people that are excited that for a Switch version of Skyrim have probably played Skyrim 20 times already, let's face it. Do you really think that any of the people that have a Nintendo Switch that are playing Skyrim on the Switch are thinking to myself, man, I've been waiting 6 years to actually finally be able to play Skyrim, but I've been waiting because I only play on Nintendo. I think there's a very, very, very small percentage of people who are in that scenario. But Man, that was just a terrible press conference, by the way. I talked about that in my video. I'm not going to get into it anymore. But, man, that was just really hard to watch. That was probably the worst E3 conference I've ever seen. But, anyway, I just think it's a very peculiar decision to make Quake Champions exclusive to PC, which isn't a very good business decision, not a very good financial decision, to only make it available on PC. When it's just weird. They make some, pretty greedy decisions. You have the Creation Club where they're pretty much selling mods to you. Yay. Don't even get me started with that. They're not coming out with any new games. They're just milking the fuck out of their old games. They're not showing anything new. And, they've been doing some other pretty, stupid shit that's not very gamer-friendly, consumer-friendly. But yet, at the same time, they're making Quake Champions exclusive to PC, which is a very, very, very interesting decision to make. And I say that because you would think that, they're building it up as the return of Quake. Quake is back, people, right? But the problem with that is that you're only making Quake available to one specific market. Granted, they are probably the biggest audience that Quake has on PC. Of course, Quake has always been a PC franchise. I'm not denying that. But what do you think Overwatch would be like right now if it was only released on PC? And, I'm not trying to start a console war. I'm not trying to start a platform war or anything like that. I'm honestly asking a serious question to you people. What would happen to Overwatch right now? Do you guys really think Overwatch would be as big as it is now? Would it be such a huge part of video game culture if it was only released on PC? I have to ask that question to you guys, and I really want a serious answer to anyone who's, part of that 29% of people who think that Quake Champions should stay exclusive to PC. To all of those people, I really ask you, do you really think that it's right? Do you guys really think that it's a smart decision to only make games available on PC? Or Xbox, for that matter? Let's talk about that. This isn't just a PC problem. Don't try to make me out as someone who's, a console fanboy or someone who's biased against the PC. Because all I'm saying is that third-party exclusives in general are completely fucking stupid. We had Titanfall in 2014, which wasn't technically exclusive to Xbox, but Microsoft paid EA not to release Titanfall 1 on the PS4. And so technically it was a third-party console exclusive. Sorry, it was also available on PC, of course. EA is never going to release a game that's not going to be on PC, let's face it. But that's besides the point. Third-party exclusives are stupid. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make. That it's not just about Quake, it's not just about PC. If there was a first-person shooter game that was exclusive to Xbox that, let's say, Activision was making, or EA was making, or someone like that, a big company, Ubisoft, I would think that's pretty fucking stupid. Because, it's a company that's known for making games that all gamers can enjoy. And then they're going to go out and say, we don't care about you guys. We made so many games for you, but the new game we're coming out with, you guys cannot play. That's the problem I have with third-party exclusives. Let's talk about the difference, though, between first-party and third-party exclusives, because I had a lot of responses from many, many, many different people to that poll. But one thing that people seem to have mixed up in their responses, people talk about, I don't think exclusives should exist at all, exclusive games are terrible, and that's not the message I'm trying to bring out here. I'm trying to distinguish between first-party exclusives and third-party exclusives, because there's a huge difference. And I'm going to talk about in this video why I think one is moral, and one is immoral, and one is not very consumer-friendly. Now, people may argue that neither first-party or third-party games are consumer-friendly. But hear me out here, okay? Third-party exclusives only have the purpose to screw over the other platform. Okay? Maybe that's not Bethesda's goal or their intention. But generally speaking, whether it's timed exclusive content that Call of Duty has, that Battlefield has for certain platforms, right? Timed exclusive content is just cancer. I think everyone can agree on that. But third-party exclusive games in general are just made out, most of these third-party exclusive deals, like the Titanfall deal, like these other deals where third-party publishers that are notable, that most of their games, the majority of their games, practically all of their games, come out for all gamers, for all platforms. And then they go out and come out with another game that people are anticipating from them because they love Ubisoft, they love EA, they love Activision, or whatever company. And they go and say, yeah, this is only coming on one platform, and the rest of you can fuck off because you guys aren't going to be able to play this game. Now, I don't think that's right. Third-party exclusives are pretty wrong. They're pretty fucking shitty things. It's a pretty shitty part of the gaming industry, I have to say. I don't remember a single instance of third-party exclusives that were actually moral and were actually consumer-friendly, that were actually gamer-friendly, that actually benefited the gamer. But here I'm going to talk about why first-party exclusives are different, okay? Why first-party exclusives aren't so bad. Why they are actually important. They are necessary. And this goes into the whole controversy surrounding my channel regarding my distaste towards the Xbox Play Anywhere program. Okay, let's talk about that. They have put a lot of their exclusives on the PC. And a lot of PC gamers are very grateful for that. And I cannot blame them at all. I'm not telling PC gamers that you guys should be upset. You guys should not be happy about this. Because guess what? If I was in this situation, I'd be jumping with joy right now. If games that I was previously unable to play, I can finally play. Games that were previously exclusive to a platform are now open to all gamers. That sounds great in theory, except you're forgetting a certain group of gamers that aren't benefiting from this, that are being screwed over for this. So, let me tell you, there are a good amount of people that bought Xbox Ones just to play the exclusive games that were initially only available on Xbox One, like Rise Son of Rome, like Dead Rising 3, and other games that were previously advertised as Xbox One exclusive, suddenly aren't exclusive anymore. How do you think that makes those gamers feel? Let's have an honest discussion about this. Because do you really think it's right to ignore these people and to not understand why they may be upset and to criticize them for being upset about this? Because I cannot blame those people for feeling that way. And there is a reason why Sony has not made their exclusives multi-platform, because it's a terrible business decision. Let's face it. You might think, oh, they're going to make so much money if they put, let's say, The Last of Us 2 on the Xbox and PC, but ultimately that would hurt their bottom line. The PlayStation brand as a whole, what's the PlayStation brand? What's the Xbox brand without exclusive content, without exclusive games that attract gamers to their platform? Besides that, what do they have? Because besides exclusive games, if you really think about it, Xbox and PlayStation are pretty much the same fucking thing. Besides exclusive games. They can all play Netflix. They all have pretty much the same features. But one thing that they do have over each other, or I guess that they used to have now that Xbox has this Xbox Play Anywhere program where you can play your Xbox games on your PC, and you don't even need an Xbox One to do that. You can just get them from the Windows 10 store, whatever the hell. Besides that whole thing. Just in general, having exclusive games is what establishes these companies. And it's a very smart business decision for Sony not to put these games that have built the PlayStation brand, like Uncharted, like The Last of Us, like Jak and Daxter, like Crash Bandicoot, in the PlayStation 1 days. I know it's making a comeback. They have the remastered collection, which I believe is PS4 exclusive. But they have all of these properties, all of these games that made PlayStation. If they just give that away to everybody, do you really think that's going to benefit Sony? It might be good for PC gamers, it might be good for Xbox gamers, but it wouldn't be good for PlayStation gamers. It wouldn't be good for Sony. They might make more money initially by having multi-platform releases of popular games, but I don't think they're worried about how much money they're making off of these games. I think they're making enough out of Uncharted. I don't think they're looking to make it cross-platform, to make it multi-platform. I don't think they're willing to do that. They realize that from a business standpoint, it makes so much more sense to have exclusive content. Think of it this way. If McDonald's sold the Whopper, licensed it to Burger King, licensed it to Wendy's, licensed it to all these other fast food chains, then why the fuck should you go to McDonald's? If they just licensed all their food products to other stores, theoretically, they'd make so much more money than they already are now. Chicken McNuggets would be available everywhere. Whoppers would be available everywhere. Or Big Macs, whatever the fuck. I just confused the Whopper with the Big Mac in McDonald's and Burger King. I'm sorry. I am very sorry for that. Oh man, people are going to kill me for this. A lot of fast food enthusiasts out there. But you get what I'm meaning. If McDonald's sold their Big Mac everywhere, you think initially they'd be making so much more money than they are now, but then why would people go to McDonald's? There's going to be less business at McDonald's since all their food is going to be sold at other places. So you see what I'm getting at here? If Sony sells PlayStation games like Uncharted, makes it multi-platform, you'd think they'd make more money initially. They get so much sales from Xbox gamers and PC gamers and other gamers out there, whatever platform you want to talk about. Theoretically, they'd make a shit ton of money, but then it would be at the expense of the PlayStation brand. The PlayStation brand would suffer. PlayStation 4 units, their sales would decrease dramatically because, let's face it, one of the main reasons why people buy PlayStations over Xboxes is because of exclusive games. That's a decision any gamer makes when you buy a system, when you buy a gaming system. What games do they have? So this isn't a foreign concept. This isn't something I'm making up. It's just common sense. And it could be proven statistically that that's the main reason why people buy consoles for exclusive games. It's just common sense. It's why people buy anything over another product. Why people prefer a certain product over its competition? Because of the exclusivity. Because of the exclusive products that they offer over the other. So I hope you guys understand why I believe that first-party exclusives are okay, but third-party exclusives are not. I would not be upset if the next, well, I'm not going to hold my breath, but if, let's say, Portal 3, or another Counter-Strike game, or Team Fortress 3, if Valve decided to make it only available on Steam, I would not be upset by that. Because Valve has the right to make their content exclusive to their own platform. Valve, I think, was pretty generous in extending games like Portal 2 and extending games like Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life 2 to other platforms. I think that's a very generous thing for them to do. But the difference between Valve and Sony is that Valve doesn't need to make games. They don't need exclusive games. PC is its own machine. Console is a whole different story. It's a whole different market. And plus, Valve, most of the money that Valve makes is off of other people's games, not necessarily off of exclusive games. People don't buy Steam. People buy PlayStation 4s. People do not buy Steam. Steam is just a service. And PC gaming is an open platform. So Valve does not need to make these games exclusive. Sony and Microsoft do. And you shouldn't blame Sony and Microsoft for making games exclusive to their own platforms. So I hope you guys understand why I think there's a huge difference between first-party exclusives and third-party exclusives. They are two completely different things. So I'm going to ask one thing. Why would Bethesda do this? Why is Bethesda making Quake Champions PC exclusive? I guess the official reason is because it just simply wouldn't work on consoles. The controller and the 30 FPS, which necessarily wouldn't be an issue considering the fact that there are higher scale PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones now that have recently come onto the market. But besides the whole 30 frames per second thing, who cares? People play games to have fun. People don't play games because of frame rate. I know a lot of people do play games because of frame rate. Most of the people who play games on PC care more about frame rate and for performance than, having fun, I guess you could say, which isn't a problem. I'm not trying to knock on people for having that preference. I'm just saying in general, there are people who do prefer graphics over gameplay, and for those people, all I have to say is this: get the PC version. Why should we not be able to experience Quake because it wouldn't be as good as the PC version? It doesn't have to be as good as the PC version. There are plenty of games that were hugely successful on the consoles that console gamers had such great experiences with that were superior on the PC. It's just a fact of life. There are multi-platform games that will, typically be superior on one platform over the other. That's just what happens. You can't have parity between all platforms at all times. It's just not possible. It's just a utopia. You can't have it like that. Especially since consoles are more, out of the box. They have, everyone who owns a PlayStation 4 has the same specs, except if you own a PS4 Pro, then that becomes a little, that becomes a whole different thing. But you get what I'm saying, right? Who cares if it's superior on the PC over the console? No one's trying to argue about which version is going to be superior and which version is going to be better. I don't think anyone's going to be like, yeah, Quake Champions, if it becomes multi-platform, man, the PS4 version is going to blow the fuck out of the PC version. It's going to be the best version of the game possible. I don't think anyone's going to make that argument, but people just want to be able to play the fucking game, man. And I think if Bethesda really wants to make Quake relevant again, if they really want Quake Champions to really take off, if they want Quake to become relevant again, then what you do simply is make it available to all gamers. That's how you really make Quake take off, and that's a real comeback for the Quake series. Because, like I said, it's a huge comparison between that game, between Quake and Overwatch. Because while they're two completely different games, you need to realize that most of the sales of Overwatch actually came from the consoles and not the PC version. So Bethesda is really missing out on a lot of money. And I know it's not always about money, but we're talking about Bethesda here. They milk the fuck out of everything. So why can't they just release a game for everybody to enjoy? I don't think that's too much to ask for. And I know Bethesda and I know Bethesda's decision. I know Bethesda's decision to make Quake Champions PC exclusive isn't set in stone, although it will definitely be released on PC first. They didn't put it out of the question to release it on consoles. But I think they will once the sales start coming in. Quake Champions is going to be a really successful game, whether it's multi-platform or not. But considering Bethesda's track record of wanting to make as much money as possible off of one game, Skyrim, then I think that Bethesda will eventually make it available to all platforms. It depends. There's a good chance that it won't happen. There's a good chance that it will never become a multi-platform title. And, you know, that's Bethesda's decision to make, but I am trying to make the case to make it multi-platform. And for all gamers to be able to play Quake Champions. I think Quake Champions is going to be a great game. I've seen gameplay. It looks really fun. And as a console gamer, I might not be able to have as good of an experience as the PC gamers will. But that doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able to have the game. I want to be able to play the game. I want to be able to enjoy it. Because if you really want Quake to be a huge hit, if you really want Quake to become relevant again, if you really want Quake to become a mega series, if you want it to become a franchise, you can't relegate it to one platform. You just can't. Especially since most of the sales of these games don't come from the PC version. They come from the console version. You're missing out on a huge market here. And, you know, if Quake Champions is released on the consoles, I'll be very grateful for that. But I'm not holding my breath. But I just wanted to make this video to make the case of making this game a multi-platform game. I want you guys to give your thoughts on this. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you think that Quake Champions should stay exclusive to PC? Or should it become multi-platform? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.